You've heard the phrase born again a million times, right? But what does it actually mean? Well, it turns out it's one of the most misunderstood phrases out there. To get to the real answer, we've got to go back to the source and crack a 2,000-year-old linguistic code. This question right here is our starting point. It comes from a religious scholar named Nicodemus, and honestly, you can't blame him for being confused. He hears born again and takes it completely literally, thinking, wait, how can I physically go back into my mother's womb? His very logical, very human confusion is exactly where our investigation begins. So let's frame this as a midnight puzzle. It's a secret conversation, and the entire meaning hinges on just a couple of words. And the cool part is, by digging into the original language, we can solve the exact same linguistic puzzle that completely stumped Nicodemus. Okay, every good investigation needs a baseline. And for us, that starts way back in the Old Testament, with the Hebrew word Harah. It's a really straightforward term. It just means to conceive or to become pregnant. It's a purely physical, biological act. Simple as that. And here's the thing, it's incredibly consistent. Every single one of the 42 times it shows up, haha means exactly one thing, the physical act of conception. There's no hidden meaning, no metaphor. So the concept of birth, at this point, is grounded firmly in the physical world. All right, now let's jump forward to the New Testament. The language switches from Hebrew to Greek. And this is where the mystery really starts to heat up, because the words themselves introduce a major twist, and the focus shifts away from the mother and directly onto the father. So in Greek, if you wanted to talk about a mother physically giving birth, the word you'd use is tikto. It's all about the labor, the delivery, the actual event of a child being born. This is the word you'd expect to hear, right?
But, and this is our first huge clue, that's not the word that was used. The word was Gennao. And Gennao has a totally different vibe. It means to beget, and it focuses on the father's role, on lineage, on ancestry, and most importantly, on the source or the origin of a person's life. So you see the difference right here, plain as day. Tikto is the event of birth, what the mother does. But Gennao is about the origin of life, the father's role. Just choosing that one word completely pivots the conversation from biology to where you truly come from. And that brings us to the word that's at the absolute heart of all the confusion, the one that made Nicodemus imagine that impossible second birth. Was the word he heard really again, or was it something else entirely? You know, the entire key to unlocking this whole thing is one tiny but incredibly powerful Greek word, anothen. It's a word with a brilliant, intentional double meaning. And poor Nicodemus, well, he only caught half of it. And here is that clever wordplay. Anothen can mean again, as in a second time. That's what Nicodemus heard, and that's what fried his brain. But its other and really primary meaning is from above, as in from a heavenly source. So Nicodemus heard the when, but the message was all about the where. And look, we're not just guessing here. The proof is right there in the same conversation. Just a few verses later, the word anothen is used again, and this time the context makes it impossible to miss. It clearly means from above. The puzzle actually gives us its own solution. So let's put our clues together. We've got hano, to be begotten from a source, and we've got anothen, from above. When you combine them, the whole meaning shifts dramatically, moving from the physical world into the spiritual one. So when you put it all together, the phrase isn't really born again. A much richer, more accurate way to understand it is to be begotten from above. It's describing an event where your fundamental origin, your spiritual DNA, is traced back directly to a heavenly father. This chart really lays out the two different realities. Our first birth, the born of flesh one, gives us our earthly family tree. But being begotten from above means your ultimate source is God himself. And that's not just some title change. It's a total shift in what you focus on and what your ultimate destiny is, a shift from death to life and peace. Honestly, this is a perfect example of why getting back to the original words is so important. A simple, common translation can sometimes completely hide the incredible depth that's sitting right there just beneath the surface. So there you have it. We cracked the code. The whole mystery started because one word had two meanings. The keys were Gennao, pointing to a father's origin, not a mother's labor, and anothen, meaning from above, not just again. And the huge takeaway? The phrase isn't about having a second birthday, it's about having a different source for your birth, being begotten from above by God the Father.
And that really leaves us with a fascinating final thought. If there can be this much profound meaning packed into just two little words, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other simple words that we use all the time might be holding a much deeper story, just waiting for us to unpack it?